And in terms of maybe just touching on our single party system that exists now, and they say very often it avoids conflict and everybody's vetted, and I think that's a great idea and a noble idea. I believe that a healthy democracy has other voices and questioning voices, and the best way you can have a vibrant town council is to have people there who ask questions and have everybody think about things differently, challenge ideas, and really come to a better product. And that's very much why I would like to run. So,
I'm Bob Berg. I've lived here now for 18 years. I've been very active in civic affairs. It started basically when I had my first run-in with the assessor, which happened very early on. When
The old assessor.
the old assessor, when my assessment was jacked up after we moved in, the first year was a welcome neighbor, and my taxes went up like $15,000 a year, and it was like, why? And it was based on my old Julia Beefy listing for the house, which said new roof, new windows, new this, new that, but that was all 9 years old. But that was their marketing material. She just raised my taxes, and that started me to investigate various things in Scarsdale. So to me, Scarsdale's a wonderful village, and it's a great village to get involved in, but there are things that need to be improved here. I found that the approach to government that they have, which is a consensus approach, really leads to non-accountability for many things. And because no one wants to hold anyone accountable for anything, we have cost overruns in every single capital project we do. We had a firehouse, basically an upgrade to a 2-bay garage firehouse on Popham Road, and it cost $4.5 million. I mean, that's crazy to me.
And the overruns are what, about $1 million?
The overruns are about 25%, and that's every single project we do has massive overruns. No one is accountable. They say, oh, well, that's the WICS law, New York State law that requires you to do bidding to separate contractors for each segment of the job. But they know that going in, and yet you still have these massive overruns. And then no one is ever held to account on that. When the village attorney retired 2 years ago, and I always had run-ins with him because to me he was not a very competent village attorney, and he did things, he didn't give advice they listened to, even though I told them that his advice is bad, it cost the village millions of dollars. What do? Instead of bidding out or looking for another competent village attorney, they appointed an in-house person who was the head of HR, who was an attorney who had practiced for 2 years, basically. And because Steve Papalardo, the village manager, was friends with her, he gave her the job. She had no competence for that job. It's not that she's a bad person. She just was not a skilled attorney and couldn't handle the job. And within a year, she was gone, and now they have a new law firm that's coming into it. These are the things that there's no accountability for, and it costs us, the taxpayers, a lot of money. The freightway process, it's nice to look and see what we can do for freightway, but they did that in a bad way, which they've spent $300,000 on lawyers and consultants, and now the mayor says, we have no plan and no timeline. And that's $300,000 that could have been put to repairing the existing structure, which I'm sure is what they're going to wind up doing, which costs $2.5 million to fix. And instead, we've really thrown that money out the window. And these are the types of things that they never talk about, they hold no one to account, and you need other voices on that board to deal with these things and to question. You have to ask questions, hard questions, and get answers. They don't dig for answers, and that's a real problem. It's been a problem on every major issue here. And they don't take principled positions on things. For instance, they wanted to bring, a group wanted to put in a facility for anorexic or bulimic kids, adolescent girls on Morris Avenue, right on the border of New Rochelle. And the people in the neighborhood protested. There's a law called the Padovan Act in New York that prevents localities like Scarsdale from interfering with the placement of facilities like this. And the law was crystal clear. The village had no role to take in objecting to that. But the neighbors protested, so the mayor and the village board decided to put in a letter to the Department of Health protesting the placement of that. So the seller of the property was unable to sell the property. He lost a fortune after they pulled out. And this was something that the village should not have gotten involved in. Up in Briarcliff, they said, the village in Briarcliff said, look, this is something it's not our problem, we can't do this thing. That was not an appropriate way for our village to act there. And it was unfathomable to me that they involved themselves in that. And these are the types of decisions that should not be made by village government. They pander to certain groups that are influential in the village, and they're not taking an approach on things that really have principle basis and benefit everyone. So that's why I am involved in this. I think we should have contested elections. I think there should be other voices heard, and here I am.